What's up, bro?
What up?
How you been?
Good. Stoked to come up and hang.
That's good, bro. We were talking a while to hang and do anything, but I mean, I guess we started with a conversation.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy to think I was at Miami, but just didn't get. I mean, it was so hectic that it was like, there's no way.
I mean, over there, fight week, like before the fight, I'm like fully like obligated. I'm like hiding from people, and after the fight, I mean, that was a hard fight, so I went straight to sleep.
Yeah, I bet. Jeez.
I mean, they took me to the hospital. They did a regular check. Okay,
Yeah.
you're fine. Go home.
Yep.
Then after that, everybody was in the lobby waiting, but I was like, I'm a little sore right now. I don't.
Yeah.
There's no time to celebrate, and I appreciate the love, and I wanted
For
to
sure.
receive, but I was just so fucking. I mean, it's the biggest night of my life. Didn't
Yep.
go my way. I'm like, fuck the world, and it just like
Adrenaline
sunned
dumped.
out.
Just gone.
I didn't. I remember being fight, hospital check, come back to the hotel, 10 a.m. I'm still with my eyes up. And just
I mean,
like,
yeah, the fight ended late.
I get to the hotel like around 6 in the morning, bro.
Holy shit.
I spent
Yeah.
like an hour, 2 hours in the hotel because backstage in the UFC you gotta do medicals and
Yep.
then they come ask you how you are. I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah, I can't even. I mean, I was just there, and my heart was still pumping till like 4 a.m. I couldn't even go to bed. I can't imagine actually fighting on the card.
Yeah, the adrenaline goes
Insane.
heavy. Because sometimes when I'm in the other side just watching, you look. I'm like, fuck. I'm gonna be doing this, and
Yeah.
sometimes soon. And you start thinking about it. You kind of like imagine your feet on the canvas, your back on the cage, and you're like, whew.
Yeah.
So fighting is hectic. Like the energy, it gets pretty crazy in there.
It's probably surreal, huh? Like when you're actually in the octagon, it feels like almost you're like in a dream or something, I'd bet.
The crazy part is like everything feels slow in there. You
Yeah.
and your opponent, like the way you watch on TV, like sometimes you see someone like going like 1-2 really quick.
Yep.
In there, you're more like tuk tuk, and
Yeah.
then everything just is slow mo in a way.
Yeah, I
Like
bet.
the feints, the way you move.
I know, it's crazy. I feel like watching it seems like 5 minutes goes by so fast, but I know, I mean, just from like doing jiu-jitsu, 5 minutes can feel like a lifetime in there.
It all depends, right?
Yeah.
If you're getting super pressure and like you're
Oh, yeah.
you're extremely behind, your mind, your body just goes crazy because you wanna keep it up.
Yeah.
But it all depends. There's fights that I've been there 3 or 5 rounds and you were like nothing happened.
Yep.
And there are fights like 2 minutes in, you're like,
What the fuck?
and you just don't know when that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's a crazy fucking part that you're like, okay, you get in there and you don't know anything was gonna happen.
Yeah, I
With
feel like
some-
I always think about that like skating when if I'm going to try a trick that I'm really scared of and I'm like trying to play out all these scenarios in my head, I'm always like, well, there's only one way to find out. You fucking ollie towards that thing and
Yeah.
see what happens, because you can run through a scenario all day in your head, but until you do it, like, you'll never really know.
That's the biggest thing with like, just do the jump, go for
Yeah,
it,
you
because
just got to go.
sometimes you don't know. Like for
Yeah.
example, if I think how I personally criticize myself on my last fight, I was waiting for the one big shot the whole time. And yes, I have a good chin and I move well and everything, but then I was like, I was so much thinking like I'm just one away to put him out,
Yep.
and that cost me a lot because I could put numbers, move more, maybe try a takedown.
Yeah.
In my head, I got so I did just the affirmation of like I'm gonna knock him out,
Yep.
and I kind of like forget about I can do a little more than that.
For sure.
And it's probably the same thing when you go in the competition. You gotta do now.
yeah,
That's the way you
absolutely.
gotta go. Even
So-
if you're ready to go, you gotta go.
Yep.
Walking the walk is a different animal.
Yeah, because there's sometimes too where you do a trick or whatever and you watch the footage and you're like, I don't even remember that moment when I'm doing the trick. Like, I'm so blacked out and zoned out in the moment that I don't actually remember. Like, I don't have the memory of doing it. It's just like you end up on the other side. You're like, what the hell?
I have probably like half of the fight I know what happened. Like someone,
Yeah.
dude, that kick was crazy. I'm like, which one?
Yeah, seriously.
The first round? No, the last round. Most of the time, you don't know exactly what happened until you actually rewatch it.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes people don't get it what's going on in there. Like everybody says, like, I think you should do this or that. When you're in there, there's nothing.
Can you tell, like, if you touch someone pretty good, can you tell if it did something to them pretty easy, like pretty quick, or is it sometimes you're like touch someone and they don't react, and you're like, damn, I thought that would have.
I mean,
done
when
something.
someone is actually getting tired
Yeah.
or is hurt or have that vibe that's gonna quit, you see that, like, you see
Yeah.
the aura, like the energy just going away.
Yep.
But like, if you crack someone with everything you got and it's clean, and that guy keep looking you in the eye, that's scary too.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say.
it's either way, because there have been fights that you're not close to finish the guy, but you can tell his face,
Yep.
the way he move, the energy that you gotta be mean the whole time,
Yeah.
not just for a little bit. Because sometimes I feel like I've been on fights that guys start really hard, and then they go kind of like, oh fuck, and this guy's still here,
Yep.
and then you can tell they're like, you know what, I'm cool. I'd rather live another day.
Yep.
Which in the other side, I'm like, I don't want to live another day. I wanna
You're here to
do
fight,
it
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, that tendency is what makes you just do it again,
Yeah.
and do it better, and keep moving forward towards that.
Yeah, even just from just rolling, doing jiu-jitsu, I've even learned, hey, you have to be the one in controlling the pace, controlling the round. Otherwise, as soon as you're a step behind, it's like catching back up is
You
rough.
just trap.
Yeah, my coach would always say that. He's like, you're being too nice. You got to be meaner.
Yeah,
Because I would just be too nice, kind of. And because I was training for a competition, I was like, just being too nice. He's like, you just got to be mean. So
yeah, it's almost like you have to be a dick. in
yeah, you
fighting.
do.
Like,
Yeah.
you gotta be like, you gotta just put it on your training partner.
Yeah.
And with jiu-jitsu, you're not really hurting no one.
Yeah, totally.
You might kind of like push the face, or maybe
Yeah.
like a little slap in a wrestling exchange, but besides that, you can be extremely a dick, and it won't be hard feelings for the other guy.
For sure, yeah. And I hate it when someone just lays there and is just like,
How long you been training?
like 2.5 years maybe.
Oh, that's a good time.
Yeah, so pretty consistently too.
Pretty consistent too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much like 5 days a week, I'd say. But
How that when you mix it up, this skate side, which is your
Mhm.
profession, with starting jiu-jitsu 2 years ago, how that help or complement each other?
it definitely helped skating just because I was better in shape. Like, skaters are not in good shape. Like, I was drinking all the time, eating just crap. Like, there are skaters that have that side of it figured out, but I would say 90% of skaters just live on like skating around with a 6-pack of beer and like gas station food pretty much. But that's kind of why it's like fun in a way. It's just you and your homies like having fun.
Sounds pretty cool to
Yeah,
me.
but then you hit an age where it's just not working. And I was trying to kind of stop drinking, and I had a friend who did jiu-jitsu, and I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a shot, and then I just got hooked right away.
Because that will definitely get you disciplined. Like,
Oh yeah.
skate, get your heart rate pretty quick. You
Yep.
can like just roll around the skate and you start sweating in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But you can still skating kind of tired, because you can throw a nice trick, take a break.
For
again.
sure.
If you go to jiu-jitsu gym
And you're
and someone
going.
is strangling you,
Yeah.
there's no time to recover. So
Yeah.
that probably is a good idea for someone that skates or surf, that have the lifestyle, to
Yeah.
kind of like discipline themselves if they want to like get the change once they start getting older. Because I get it, like 19 to 20 something, you can
Do
fuck around a
whatever.
little more and
Yeah.
it's fine. You get to the 30s, you want those 10 years to be pretty much perfect.
For sure, yeah. And you can make jiu-jitsu as hard or as not hard as you want, I guess, on your body. There's some dudes I see that just come in and they just kind of they cruise and flow and they learn techniques and they just have fun. And then there's other guys that are trying to rip your head off. So there's both sides for sure.
You got it. I mean, and you get to feel both. And
Yeah.
sometimes if you're too tired, you just take a break, flow,
Yeah.
relax. You think about tournament and you wanna compete, you go all in.
Yeah, I liked the first tournament I did when I was getting ready for it. I liked the like intensity that my coach kind of started to like put on me, just pushing me harder. Because before he would just, he teaches and it's like good class. But then when he knows like you have a competitive bug and he sees it, I'm sure it's the same with you. And you like having your coach there, keeping you in check and being like, 1 minute left, you got to push right now.
Exactly.
Like go. And you think you have nothing left in you and you're just like, all right, fuck it. He's telling me to do it.
You've been competing often, or you?
I only did one, but I'm going to do another soon. It was really fun, but I did Naga and I did just no-gi. I lost the first round, and it was one single elimination, so right out the gate. Yeah, 1-1. But I was kind of bummed because I was like, I thought I'd at least get 2 matches in, but I misread the brackets, I guess.
Sometimes they do that, and so sometimes when it's like that, they have one guy just bypass to the second round, and these other 2 compete, and then he goes straight to finals. So sometimes with that, the best thing is just get back to it. I mean,
sure, it was so fun.
There's competitions like every other month.
Yeah, it was funny. It brought me back to like being a kid going to skate contests, like the same vibe, just like the energy in there, the parents, the kids, everyone's screaming. I was like, whoa, this is like being a kid again. In hindsight, I should have done the masters division. I did the adult, so I was going against, like the 21-year-old blue belts that were just savages.
They've been training since they were like 4 years old.
They were really good. The kid was really good that I went against, so it was like humbling, but at the same time, I didn't think I was there to win. I was just like, I got to see what it's all about once, Give
it a try. I mean, you will never know what it feels, and coming from a different sport too. I mean, you compete skate your whole life. Yeah. Now you go like, most people out there don't ever compete in one sport. You compete in a different one, which that just right there, there's some sort of growth on many things.
Yeah, I think I'm sure it's the same for you. Like the amount I progressed just in the training for it, because I was really focused, I feel like was worth it. Even though I didn't do well, I progressed so much in like 2 months because I was just so focused. I mean, I'm sure like a fight camp's the same way.
I mean, and the energy you put to make that goal happen will just translate to any other thing. Oh, you're gonna get this done, or fix this, or buy this. It will almost like teach you how to like put your energy towards things, because no one out there is trying to sign up for tournaments. It's hard to compete. I mean, you compete your whole life in skate. But for someone that never compete, they don't put themselves under the lights. And sometimes having that on your side, you can walk through life a little easier, because you have a different confidence. You know how to do things, and it just push you better.
I mean, that's what my wife always is like. She's like, when you have like a goal you're working towards, you're always like just in a better mental state. I think that's like something that I just need. But and that was the first time too I've like had to diet to cut some weight. I was like, fuck even this. That, right? And I wasn't even cutting a lot. I think I was like 175 and I went down to 168, and I was like, oh my god, this is gnarly.
That's crazy. We go from like 58, 57 to 35.
I honestly don't. I was thinking about that one day. I was like, man, if I was fighting, I would probably have to go to like 45. I don't even know how the fuck I could do that.
You're a perfect size for a 45.
Yeah, but
kind of like Max Holloway.
I always wonder about that. Like that last 10 pounds must just be insane.
Heavy. It's brutal. Like, you're literally, your whole thing is picking you up, putting towels on you, getting the sweat away from your face, putting you back on the sauna or the hot water. Pick you up again. You're just barely alive.
Has there ever been times when you did exactly what you usually do and it wasn't working towards the end of the cut? Like, is your body sometimes just not take well?
I feel I've been so consistent with my diet on the last 7 years that I know exactly what to expect out of my body. But I always think about this. The last 3 pounds, when you're like fully depleted, you just don't know how your body's going to react. And every time I think it's a gamble. Like, when you do it, you're like, I did it. But like, that last pound, dude, that fucking last pound make you fucking suffer.
That's what I think about. I'm like, dude, I know I bet I could get to 45 once in my life, but to have to like depend on that so many times, that's fucking crazy.
It's heavy, man. The weight cut, I think, is the most stupid thing ever. I would love to like fight at 155. Not cutting a pound, just probably running a few miles a week. I weigh 55 year round.
I mean, what is it? Just because I don't understand why they don't just do like day of weigh in. I mean, jiu-jitsu is like that, where it's like you weigh in, walk into the cage.
Even better would it be weigh yourself on the cage.
Like exactly.
That you have zero weight cut. I know jiu-jitsu guys that cut like 10 pounds the night before and just compete fully fucked up. They're just like barely hanging for their life. And some guys figured it out how to win like that. But that's just so bad for you.
I can't imagine that.
I think if they weigh us on the cage, you do they don't even check your weight 5 week. You go, your music comes out. You go to the fight. They weigh you like where they put the Vaseline. Okay, go.
Yeah.
I would weigh no more than 56 on my worst day.
Yeah, I just I don't get why. Is it just because it's more marketing or something? The weigh-ins.
They
and
just follow the athletic commission from boxing, which
true.
there's a bunch of dinosaurs that doesn't know anything about fighting.
Yeah.
There's a department set by the government. I don't know, and because we have the same commission as boxing.
Yeah.
Those guys don't understand. If you put someone in a guillotine and sweep him, they don't know who's winning.
Yeah.
Like, they go based on like, kind of like common sense. I think you won. Okay, 9 or 10.
Yeah, I mean, even sometimes I don't know much about the scoring, but I watch enough fights. Sometimes I'm watching a fight, I'm like, how in the hell did that guy win that fight? That's crazy.
Because when I do commentary, I see them, and sometimes I ask them questions. I'm like, how you qualify if I put you on a triangle for like 2 minutes?
Yep.
And I'm about to tap you, and you escape, and you end on top of me the last minute, but you don't land an elbow or a punch that caught me. Who wins? And they go like, well, you have to talk to sort of. So I'm like, no, just tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear the way you think.
Yeah.
Or if I take you down and you literally touch the mat and get up, is that a takedown?
Yeah.
They go like, we can disclose that information. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just making a simple question. But
I feel like you see that a lot, like takedowns and then nothing happens. They get up and everyone's like, oh, that's a 10-9 for so and so. I'm like,
right.
But he just got right back up. It's not. I get takedowns are difficult, but if it doesn't lead to anything,
you gotta at least control. You gotta really hold the person down.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people just laying on top.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with the stand up. I think it's gonna be boring.
Yeah.
But if I take you down.
Yeah.
And I'm being bored, and the referee, like, if I hold you the whole fight down like that, then the guy on board pretty much sucks or doesn't want to fight. So this should be kind of like a penalty for the guy doing nothing on board, because in order to keep somebody down is hard. It's not easy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like if I got into a weird scramble and there was a takedown, I end up like half guard on top or something. I'm controlling it. If they stood me up, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
and
that was not easy to get there. Yeah.
Sometimes you see guys pushing someone on the wall and hitting knees, good elbows, controlling, because I'm winning if I'm pinning you in the wall, and the referee just goes stop. I'm like, dude, why you did that? And then the other guy knock you out. The rules are made. The rules are pretty dumb.
Yeah, I mean, if I was like fighting, have no striking, so I'm like, if I'm clinched with someone, the last thing I want the ref to do is to split us up, and then I'm like, great, now I've got to avoid getting knocked out again.
I mean, years ago, Demian Maia was on Kamaru Usman back before Kamaru becomes a champion, and he was getting close to be on full in the back, and Demian Maia on your back is choking you out.
Yeah.
The referee stopped the action. One hook in, seatbelt against the wall. The referee went, no action. And then everybody went, that was the most fucking action over there.
Yeah.
I mean it's like, not fun, but...
That's the equivalent of like wobbling standing up for grappling.
I mean, especially Demian Maia.
Yeah.
He was like seatbelt on, one hook, trying to bring him down, and the referee stopped it. And then Kamaru ended winning by decision. But that moment right there could have changed 1,000% the fight.
For sure.
Because he was working. He went from a takedown to the hips to the back. Yeah. And then they spent like a minute there, and the referee stopped. And I was live for that fight. That was in Chile, I believe. And I was like, how in the fuck? That should be legal.
Yeah.
Because he was advancing.
It is pretty crazy. It seems like some of the dudes that they have controlling some of the fights or judging some of them. Seems I don't know. It just seems crazy. It seems like they would skate contests. Most of the judges at least like they skate and understand skating at least. I can't imagine like a normal guy just clocking in like, oh, this is my job. I gotta just judge a skate contest, having no clue. There's just so many different things that can happen on a skateboard. How can you, unless you skate or fight?
You have to be.
Yeah.
And with fighting, there should be like bunch of retired fighters, like guys actually that they're being on the ground,
Yeah.
they're being on the wall, they're being hurt, they won fights, they lose fights, so they can be like, okay, I think this is the right way to do it. But in every, I know the surfer, the judge on the surf side, they're all surfers.
Yeah.
They all surf.
Yeah.
I skate. I'm sure they all skate.
Yeah, for sure.
Fighting is probably the only sport with judges that the judges are the normal people.
Is it just to separate the like any like favoritism or any, I don't know, like weird?
That could be a, like, think about it, my teammate judging my fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's gonna be like, nah, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Let me help Chito here.
Yeah.
But at least you can figure it out how to bring, once you have the fight card, you bring guys that are not related to you.
True. Yeah.
Or
There's just always people trying to do sketchy shit, I'm sure, and
that's also
it's
the
just always
biggest
how it
problem.
goes.
People try to find those little things to
Yeah.
fuck the other person, but the way it is right now, the rules and the judges is not very good.
Yeah, I mean, because I watch pretty regularly, like, the fights, and I was just recently watching, what was it, the Arnold Allen and is it Masliov, or how do you say his name? I don't even know, but when he was dragging him and he was pulling him up, give him a knee, and then he tried to put the hand down, he pulled him up again, and I was just like, as a fan, I was like, I thought, knowing what the rules are, I thought he was doing exactly what he should have done by yanking his hand up, get the knee in, and then he put it down. And it's like kind of annoying to see a fighter play the rules like that.
The hand rule like that is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's either you're like putting fully pressure down.
Yeah.
But some states say if someone is doing that, just fucking kick him in the face.
Yeah, and that's what's
And
crazy
I
too. It
love
changes everywhere.
And soccer kicks should be allowed to. Like pride.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fight.
That it's like sometimes when you're in side control,
Yeah.
kneeing someone in the face will be so easy.
Yeah, for sure.
They should just let them, and no more 5-minute round.
Mm-hmm.
Either
25 just straight.
Either 25 straight or 15 straight.
Yeah.
Because that minute break, you're not recovering.
No. If anything, it just gives one person like a breather if they're getting their ass kicked, kind of.
Yeah, but even then, if you're in good shape, the other guy's gonna get tired of kicking your ass if he's not able to finish you. So I feel they should do, like, probably used to do 10-minute round and either 1 or 2 5s. Because sometimes first round you're working on a lot of things and you hurt the guy.
Yeah.
And then round's over. You're like, because that also shoot your adrenaline up and down because you're like, I'm almost winning. And then all round's over and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
It should be just 1 10-minute round.
What are you thinking about in that minute when you're on the stool? Just nothing. Just like
You just like, okay, I'm breathing. I'm okay.
Yeah.
You get that advice that your coach tell you, like, hey, move more, or I need you to throw more this combo, or just good job, keep it up.
Yeah.
But that minute break is sometimes weird because you're like, just like, for me, it's just like, if I sit down, I don't like sitting down because I never sit during sparring.
Yeah.
So I just stay up.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm skating, if I stop for 5 minutes, my legs, I'm seizing up. I'm like, I'm
I don't
not
think
stopping.
the sitting down is good.
No, it sucks. It's the worst. That's why it's crazy in the skate contest. Sometimes they'll have them, like it's 10 minutes between each run. And you're just standing there. And it's like, you just have to just drop in and then get right back into like your highest level skating. It's kind of crazy.
So when you go, let's say you go in, because in the skate, they let you go. You do like the whole thing and they qualify that one.
Yep.
And then how many more guys goes?
Depending, probably like 10.
So you have to wait all the way to go again?
To your next one. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you get called.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's like, is it what, a minute each?
Yeah. With like weird little breaks in between.
Yeah, that's like fighting for 3-minute round and waiting 10 minutes and then fighting again.
Yeah,
that must be crazy because you're like, and you're watching everybody going too.
Yeah, I've never done good in competition skating, but it is crazy. Like guys like Nigel who are they just don't miss. It's just like they know how to just go right back into that mode.
Some people just compete crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, he seems like he's a good competitor.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a different type of. There's like competitive skaters that know how to go into that zone, and then more the other side that's just like
free
flowy,
surfing.
fun. Yeah, totally.
And in those two sports you can kill it outside competing and you still make a great living.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you see it in fighting too. I'm sure there's guys that probably are so good in the practice room, and then when they step in the cage, they just can't like.
I had
Can't get it
guys in the
together.
past that they would kick everybody's ass.
Yeah.
They go and fight, they go stop in the first round.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's almost like you have to like go crazy when the lights are on. Just have a crazy ego in a way and be like
Yeah.
being obsessed with something and be like, I don't give a fuck about nobody. I want to just do it myself.
Yeah.
But the way it translates, you just don't know until you actually do it.
Yeah. It's like you said, you just got to do it.
You gotta do it.
That was like my mindset. I was like, man, I'm rolling good with competitive rounds in comp class. Like the other blue belts, I'm doing good against them. Like I think I should be able to do okay. And then I just made one wrong decision in the round, and then the guy just got on top the rest of the round, and I was like, well, that's how it goes.
Gotta do it again.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's the only way to take the needle out, right?
It was fun though. It was getting that like competitive, because skating isn't, it's just you never have the other person, so it's kind of like it's a whole different thing, versus someone else.
It's like skating is almost like, I would say like a cooking show. You do a plate and the judges try it, and the one that they like the most is gonna win, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you versus yourself, know?
They never do like at the same time, two guys, or you can do that, right?
No, not really. Like, they do best trick, like, so they'll do like part of the contest where it's like you get 4 or 5 tries to just do the hardest trick you can do, pretty much, and whoever makes their trick in that time, like, the score counts for that or whatever. But
like, out of how long, how many time they give you, or you just go for one thing and that's it?
I think you like so actually we were in Vegas on a skate trip, and we got rained out, and it happened to be during Street League, which is like the equivalent, I guess, to
SOL?
like UFC. Yeah, and they had the event at the Apex, the UFC Apex, and someone was like, oh, we can go to Street League, and I was like, like, honestly, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I really want to go, and they're like, oh, it's at the UFC Apex. I was like, let's go. I want to go. I want to check out the Apex. But we went, and then they had like a 9-stair with a rail set up, and yeah, it was just crazy. Like, those dudes they're crazy level skater. It's like just different. It's the same thing as, probably top 5 in the UFC, where it's just like they're machines.
And probably a street, in comparison to ball skating, is like anyone can skate in the street. Anybody can go to a park and
For sure.
throw a rail or jump something.
Yep.
The coolest skate videos are like literally filmed on cities or like
Yeah.
or anywhere with the stairs, right?
Yep.
So for this street league, is way more competition than balls, or no?
Yeah, it's just different. Now they have like the park series where it's like these big bowls and stuff, but that's like, I mean, now it's in the Olympics, so it's like, I feel like the competitive side is starting to get more popular to like kids, and I feel like parents are starting to be like, oh, I can, my kid can be an Olympian if he's like a good skater. So it's like a whole different outlook. I feel when I go to the skate park, I just see people skating differently than when I grew up skating at the skate park. It was just like, just kids just skating, like just doing whatever.
Like now it's more like people see like I can make a living of this.
Yeah, it's like a sport now.
I can be an Olympic guy.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, I have friends that are on the Olympic teams, and I'm like, what the hell? You're you're an Olympian? That's fucking crazy. Like,
for a sport like skating.
Yeah, for skating, but like they can't, you can't take it away from them. Like, they are an Olympian for their country. You're like, whoa. It's just funny, like how people see Olympians and then like seeing the other side of just like, you're just like the skate homie who's just now on an Olympic team. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
I'm surprised they don't have it for fighting, honestly.
It's because they pay you. I think in the sports that you get pay, like surfing and skate, I mean, they just make those two Olympic. But fighting, there's not like you can go to a wrestling tournament every week to qualify to nationals and then qualify to worlds.
Yep.
If you fight every week, you're gonna die.
Yeah, seriously.
So for the Olympics, they must have to do like UFC champion, Bellator champion,
true,
and find a regional champion, and have those 3 guys fight each other. But if a UFC champion fight a guy from down the street on the local show, it might kill him.
Yeah, for sure.
So making Olympics it will be hard, because how you have
Yeah.
100 fighters fighting for the medal?
For sure. I mean, I think that's why it took so long for skating to get in there, because they just didn't understand how to
Do it?
like, how do you like sanction this in a way that makes sense as an Olympic sport.
But if they, I mean, they do boxing in the Olympics, they gotta be a similar trial. Because in boxing they go, it's like 3 fights at night, and that's not good for you.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts.
Because boxers when they do like Golden Gloves and there's like one is full dress in red and the other one is full dress in blue, there's like a few fights at night.
That's crazy.
And if you get rocked in your first match, even if you go and win it, you went rocked to the second.
Yeah.
I mean, how you get ready for that shit?
And that's how you get brain damage right there.
That's exactly how that thing gets fucking
a
little psych. But I mean, for fighting must be more gnarly because you throw a heavy low kick, your whole leg is swollen. Now what?
Yeah.
How you do the next fight?
And it's like the point system is not good for something like that.
Exactly.
Like if it went to points and it was an Olympic medal, I mean,
that would
I feel like
crazy.
there'd be a lot of controversy around that.
100%. I mean, Pride used to do like the 4-man tournament.
Yeah.
But dude, I know people that fought in Pride and like they tell you about it. That thing, like you see people coming back to the locker room looking like a fucking butchery, and then he have like in 2 fights he gotta go again.
That's insane.
That's fucking crazy. So it's gonna be hard for fighting to be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not impossible.
For
I
sure.
mean, with time they figured it out system.
Yeah.
Because they just put a skate and surfing.
Yep.
Now, what could be the next one?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like they probably see there's so much money in that world and so many like countries involved. But yeah, like you said, I'm sure it'll take a while to figure out how to make it make sense.
And training wise, like even today, like if I go back home, I couldn't do a training camp for a UFC fight.
Yeah.
You don't have the training partners.
Yeah.
I can bring my own coaches, but the infrastructure, the culture is almost like not made for grind every day in a sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Like Southern California for everything is like almost just where you got to be, it seems like, or like Florida. It's like Southern California and Florida are like the places.
The thing that I like the best about Orange County is like I don't see a party scene. There's no party.
Yep.
Even LA is so close, but even my friends that live in LA and they do fun things for living, they're not on a club or they're not on a party every weekend. So
yeah,
over here is more like throw a barbecue and chill with your homies.
For sure.
Pop up a wine bottle, but you don't see like a Miami or like crazy party scene. Like, and that's for an athlete. That's key, dude. Like
Absolutely.
I don't have everybody that call me is either to offer me a steak or to watch the fight.
Yep.
I don't know a guy that's like, yo, let's go to the bar on Thursday. Like,
yeah,
I haven't been on a bar in years, so I don't even know how that looks like.
I mean, that's what's crazy is like when I was in my prime of skating, probably like of my whatever career, I guess you could say, like it was fucking every night we're at the bar all night every night. Wake up, go skate, and go right back to the bar after. It's like that lifestyle. It was crazy. Like on thinking back, I'm like, how the fuck was I doing that?
And that would hurt you. I mean,
that's what I meant. Hit a wall where I was just like, okay, this isn't working anymore. Like injury after injury, not getting better. And then that's the hard part when you're stuck in that mode and you get an injury. You're like, well, fuck it, go to the bar, get drunk and whatever.
You have a great excuse now. Yeah, I can't do nothing.
Exactly.
Might as well get drunk.
Little do you know, you're like prolonging the injury by like a year just by doing that. But yeah, the skate industry is crazy like that. How it's like you just party and skate and it's all good.
It's a 6-pack and a pack of cigarettes. Yeah. I grew up as skating. I know. Yeah. Like all my friends, it was almost like you do the pre-party at the skate park. Everybody's drinking a beer, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, and then you go home, change your t-shirt, and go out again.
Yeah.
It gets you tired. I mean, for me, luckily, I fell in love with fighting.
Yeah.
And I told myself, none of these things matches on a fighting life, just because the amount of damage. And if you're fighting and you get tired, you're fucked.
Oh,
That's the main reason I quit everything, because I was like, can't smoke a cigarette. Can't be hungover.
No.
So I just went full on deep on like this rabbit hole of like health and figured out how to fix things, how to feel better. And for the last few years, every time I have a small injury or a bigger injury, I just put all my energy like that's a fight camp. I forget about I'm a fighter, and I'm just going. I'm going to therapy twice a day. I'm doing red light, eyes, sauna. I'm like, go to Google which plants are anti-inflammatory, which food will help me more.
For sure.
And then you get into a rhythm of like, it's so simple to feel good. Like almost like you feel like a superhero.
Oh, it's insane. Now, like, just eating clean. I mean, honestly, I like base my lifestyle around like fighters, because I'm like, they have it the most figured out with, I mean, for the most part, you know, like guys like you and other guys who just are living that lifestyle. I'm like, that's how I want to live, because my body is just as damaged. But skaters, you don't have any way to really like learn about that besides going and branching out into other sports that people do. So that's why, like, when I started kind of getting more into fighting and just being a fan of it and watching and then training, I was like, something's got to change. And then once I got in that mode, I was like, I don't even want to drink, because I want to sleep good. I want to wake up. I mean, you know, like go in the ice bath, do all the stuff. So
100%. I mean, you just get to a point that feeling good, it feels just as good as be drunk, because I get it. When you're drunk, you feel like
for sure
it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not like you have to don't ever drink again.
Yeah.
You can drink here and there, but the problem is when it becomes just normal to just get shit faced over, and then your body get used to it, like everything, and then you don't feel as bad as you should feel.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, I'm not even hungover. Pop another beer, keep drinking, and then you just get inflamed.
Thinking back, like I think back to like when I was drinking heavily, I'm like, that I can't even believe a human body can like operate that way. Like
human body can take crazy. A lot of shit, dude.
Yeah, like I mean, I was just like whiskey all night, and then it was like wake up, you know, wait a little, and then just start drinking again. And you're like, once you're in it, your body adapts, and then you're just like, yeah, this is how you feel. But
I remember being able, like when I was also surfing a lot and going with my friends to the beach, and my parents were like, no, we don't want you to go. And I would convince them, like, no, I'm going to surf. I want to be a surfer. But it was bullshit. The moment you get in the car driving to the beach, everybody's just drinking, taking shots. And of course, they go and driving doesn't, because we would be dead by now.
Yeah.
And by the time we get to the house, we were already shit-faced.
Yeah.
Like, we grab more beers, more alcohol, and just rage.
Yeah,
then the next morning you barely surf because you're fucked. Yeah. And then you start drinking again.
Yeah.
And I remember it's just been weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend, and it gets to another level that you go like, I want to party on Thursdays too.
Oh yeah.
So I was going to high school pretty much drunk most Fridays.
Yep.
But thank God for fighting.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't get out of that thing.
That's nuts. Like I didn't really start drinking till I was probably like 22, 23, like heavily, you know. I didn't even really drink. I mean, it would be like the equivalent of I was so focused on skating and like just so dedicated with my life to it that when I turned pro when I was 21, and I was already kind of at that point like dealing with a lot of injuries, and it would be, you know, it's like the equivalent of like getting a belt at 21, you know, and you're like, I've already done it. And then like you kind of just start working backwards, because you're like, well, fuck it, you know, like I never went out and drank with my homies when they were doing it because I was focused on skating. Like, I want to go see what that's all about. And the next thing you know, you blink and it's 2 years later and you're like,
dip.
Fuck, I'm barely skating. Like my body feels like shit. Because you're like, you know, you're kind of like a rock star at that point of your life when you're like on top skating, you know, or fighting, whatever it is. It's like you could go out every single night if you want to, and there's going to be people there to do whatever you want to do with them. Like, that's just how it goes.
I mean, when you're at that level, everybody accepts anything about you. Everything is cool about you, but that's the little thing that you go, is it enjoy for a little bit?
Yeah.
Get away from it and enjoy it for a long time. Like, back then, how long you went like fully deep in like focus on just skating? From what age?
I mean, probably from like 12 to like 22 was just like, I always did other stuff. Like I was into surfing and snowboarding, riding dirt bikes and stuff, but skating was always like the main thing. But I don't know why at a young age I was just new. Like when my friends were getting into like smoking cigarettes, drinking like 15, 16, I was just like, I just have like this thing I want to do. Like I want to go pro. Like that's like what I want to do, you know? And I think my dad was a good influence, being like, you know, like if you shouldn't do that stuff because you're going to burn out whatever talent you have, you know, you could, he was kind of just like, you could do it. Like, even though you are my son and you have these advantages, he was like, you are talented as skater, like at skating. So you should just keep going down that path and, you know, see what happens. And like, it worked out. But at the same time, I just got to a point where I felt like I kind of was so focused on skating. I like kind of missed out on some other things in life that I should have done, you know, like just basic like life interactions, like going to parties as a teenager with your friends. Like, so you're kind of like playing catch up when you're in your 20s, and then that can get like dangerous because you're just getting hooked on that, like having fun, you know, you're like, well, it's just fun all the time. And then one day it's just not fun anymore.
I mean, that's kind of like a small consequence from not doing it at all.
Yep.
And then doing it a little bit.
Yep.
So I mean, that would definitely catch up in a bad way at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have like, you know, maybe found like jiu-jitsu or fighting or something when I was younger, because I feel like I would have really loved to focus energy into that. But at the same time, I look back and I'm like, it wouldn't have mattered. Like I had to go down that road no matter what. Nothing was gonna stop me from like needing to go do those things in life, like, you know, kind of find out that drinking and partying isn't what I want to do in life. Because if you don't, then you're always going to be like, oh, maybe it's always there.
Great thing is that it's already out of the way.
Yeah,
you already
totally
figured it out that way. So that's at the point probably the most important thing.
Yep.
Like back then, like in skating, how much it takes to become pro? Like you need to win some like few shows, or like how that work?
It's kind of like you're just skating so much and you're like progressing. It's the way it kind of works. I mean, like I said, you know, I was really lucky to have my dad as who he is, and people always saw the last name, so it was always kind of like it was like a novelty thing for me, like, oh, Tony's son's like, you know, he's skating, he's pretty good or whatever. And then once I kind of turned 18 was when Andrew Reynolds from Baker hit me up, and I was just skating so much. It was just when you're just living it, you know. I'm sure it's the same like when you were just living the fight life. You're just like, you don't really realize how much you're progressing because you're just so in it. And then
you're sunned out. Someone
like Andrew was like, I want you to skate for Baker. And I was like, holy shit, I guess I'm like really doing it, you know. And then you kind of just, it's weird. Skating's so weird because you don't decide, you know. And I've talked about this with some people where like at my jiu-jitsu gym, people ask me about like, oh, how do you go pro, or what, you know, how do you do a living and stuff? And I was like, dude, skating is kind of brutal because in some ways, like, you dedicate your life to it and you get nothing out of it. Like, you don't even get you don't get the colored belts, you get nothing. Like, I have friends that just got spit out with nothing, and they were like just as good as anyone else, you know. And it's like kind of crazy in that way. You just, I don't know, you just have to be in the right place at the right time, I guess.
So you get almost selected to be pro in a way.
Yeah, so you get, technically it's called being like flow, is where a company will, you know, like it's kind of like you're seeing like a fighting prospect. You're like, oh, this guy's got some potential, you know. And maybe a gym will be like, let's bring him in and like kind of see. It's the same thing, like a team will see a kid and they're like, let's give him some boards and, you know, like kind of see where it leads. And then eventually, if the kid meshes well with the team or whatever and he's still progressing, they'll be like, all right, you're on the team as an amateur. And so like you get paid, you're on the team, like you get the ads, but you don't have the pro board. And then eventually if you just keep kind of skating and progressing and they, you know, whatever, everything's working out, then they kind of like, generally it's a surprise. Like they'll just surprise you with the pro board and it's like a big party or whatever, you know. Like that was on my 21st birthday, they surprised me with the board, which was pretty rad.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And it coming from Andrew's even sicker.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was cool.
Badass.
It was like just surreal, but at the same time, it was one of those things where I'm sure you felt it, where you're just like, man, I just was so in love and dedicated with this thing that this is what it led to. It was like, I wasn't really thinking about this as a reality, and then now it's just like here you're like, holy shit.
And the feeling of that call is crazy. Like that bar on your birth is like when the UFC called me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, are we speaking to Marlon? I'm like, yeah, what's up? We are the UFC. And I was like, no, fuck no.
Yeah, like, he's my homie fucking
like,
with me.
Exactly. I even told the lady, I'm like, if this is a joke, I'm gonna get pissed off.
Yeah.
And I really believe my friends were in the back laughing.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm the fucking UFC. You've been selected. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
That until today is a surreal moment. I'm sure it's the same with a pro
For sure. It's just weird to think about like all the things you had to do for that one moment to happen. You're just like, fuck. It's crazy.
It's a lifetime of everything or everything. Just there's 100 options. You just want one fucking thing. No, but maybe this, maybe that. Fuck everything. I want that. And when it happens, it's fucking special.
Yeah, that was kind of like once I'd say around 15, 16 is when it was just like, I was just tunnel visioned. I was like, I'm just skating. Like, I didn't even know if it was going to lead to anything, you know? And I was just, I knew I was like, people are going to always kind of see me as my dad's son, and I just have to like not think about that and just keep skating and just be like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep skating, and then just worked out.
How you handle that part? Like, I mean, being Tony's son and skating must be way too hard for anybody.
I think it was, I don't know. I feel like I see it so much in like social media with just fighters and fighting and like people, there's just the people that talk shit. It's just like there's just such a crazy other world to that side of like social media. But I was kind of like getting that almost as a kid way back in the day, and I was like kind of understood young, and my dad helped me understand that like there's just these people that just like they're just unhappy people. They're just gonna say stuff that to them, they're just saying it, and they have no thoughts or ideas of how it's affecting the person on the other end. And I think to some extent it made me like pretty emotionally like hardened, where I was like, it took me a while in my later years to kind of like express if something was bugging me, because I think I was just like
just numb to it.
Just like fuck it, like I'm just gonna keep skating, like I don't give a fuck, like telling myself like you don't care, like when you're younger you do care, but you just don't understand how to deal with it, so you use like a coping mechanism, which was skating. And my dad did the same thing. He talks about that a lot now, where he didn't know how to deal with anything, so he just would skate. That was like how he would get away from it. So he kind of helped me understand that whole thing and navigate it in a way that was like a little healthier probably than most people would.
Suck into the negativity and listen to it and fight with them, and that's the best thing to do about it. Like, you want to stop it, just fucking ignore it.
Yeah, totally.
The moment you get in the rabbit hole of like, fuck this, you motherfucker.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
So unhealthy. And most of the time it's just a fucking loser that have nothing going on for their life.
Yeah.
And just decide to say something stupid that he's probably laughing, he don't even mean it. And and we in this side, we can be like, so I apply the Joe Rogan method. You pause and I just turn the phone off.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not like checking who's saying something good or bad. If someone loves me, that person will text me.
For sure.
Or if I catch up someone that I admire and I grew up watching, and that person is like, dude, I fucking love you, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's how I feel I made it in life. Like, having the right people around, the people that I look up and never thought I would meet them, now they're cool to me. I'm like, I'm cool. I don't need I don't need the rest.
I know it's hard, where it's like you can see a million good things about you and one bad thing if you're like a certain type of person or you're not used to it. Like when it's all first starting, it can really fuck with your head, and I think 100%. At a certain point I was just so fed up with all of it. I was just like, I don't even want to be on Instagram or anything, so I just didn't have one forever, because I was just like, yeah, like you said, out of sight, out of mind. I was like, you know what? I know those people are going to be talking shit about whatever, whenever, all the time, and that exists, but if I don't see it, then it's not going to affect me. So
how long you stay away from social media?
I think like 2 years, maybe 2 years, and then Brixton that I skate for, they were like really just hounding me to go back on to help just, you know, promote like the stuff, because it was like kind of a contract thing where there's social media involved, and but at the same time they understood I was like mentally just like, I gotta take a break from it because it's too much.
Yeah, I personally, the last few years I've been very close to just across the board just swap them out. Just be this guy that no one can know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But at least my manager's like, dude, no, like we need that.
Yeah,
and
that's
you need
part
it,
of it.
and I get it. I mean, there's business, there's money to make out there, but it's like sometimes I'm like, fuck, I don't want to fucking pose.
Yeah, for sure. It's like we were talking about earlier. Sometimes people are like, you know, it sounds so ridiculous to say, but they're like, oh, like we'll send you this thing if you post this thing or whatever and say this. I'm like, dude, honestly, I'd rather just like buy the shirt for $50 because like I just don't want to be that presence on the internet. Like that's I just don't want to be.
If I like something, I buy it.
Yeah, I like supporting brands when I like something.
Especially if I love them, I'm like, I'm gonna buy it regardless.
Yep.
And if I get to be cool to the owner or someone there, I'm like, I take something too. But it gets to a point that it's like you gotta pick and choose, because
for sure.
And honestly, I need to like something. I don't care how much it costs or whatever. If I like it, I'm gonna wear it. Doesn't have to be anything special. Doesn't have to have any big tag on it. If it's cool, it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, you know, everyone's style is their own thing. That's a cool thing I think about skating is there's a lot of people that just, you know, you get to express your style a little bit more. I feel like fighting is kind of just I at least personally, I feel like I'm seeing it a little more now in fighting. It seems like people that are trying to be a little more just
too hard,
expressive, bro. But sometimes it just doesn't.
You see a fucking fighter in a Gucci suit the day after they win a fight, you're like, bro, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's fashion is pretty much skateboarding. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
That's one thing. I like clothing. I like the way I think about what I'm gonna wear.
Yeah.
And a skateboarding translates to every big brand. You see baggy jeans, you see puffy shoes, and extra large on a small guy. So
for sure. No, it's my good buddy that I grew up skating with, this kid Rowan. He skates for Baker now too, but he skates for Supreme, and he's like pretty much like the face of like Supreme. Like Supreme loves him, and I'm just like, it's crazy because Supreme is just this, you know, it's massive huge brand, and he's like the guy. Like Supreme is like, he's what Supreme bases stuff off of pretty much, because he's always been cool and always had good style, and it's I see it now, I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy.
It transfers. I mean, in what I like, it transfers perfect. Like,
yeah.
And most major big brand has a skate shoe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dior, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
They all have a skate shoe, and that thing is just like, that comes from one thing, and that thing is skateboarding.
Yeah, and like most brands now have skate teams, which is even brands that maybe shouldn't have skate teams do, but it's cool. I mean, I thought it was cool how like ASICS just started a skate team. I was like, well, that's rad. I mean, for me personally, being like into running and, you know, doing other things. I didn't know
they pulled up a skate team.
Yeah, they have a skate team now, which is cool.
I'm gonna check out how the shoes look.
My brother, so I have a brother who is my half brother. He's same mom but different dad, and he just turned pro, but he skates for Nike, and I'll always hit him up like, hey, can I get these golf shoes? And he'll always hook me up. Or like, can I get these running shoes? He hooks me up.
The Nike skateboard makes pretty cool shoes.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's rad. I was just with him on a trip, and he was showing me, he has like this app that Nike has where it's like just for the team and workers and stuff, and they have like all the like stuff coming out, and he can just like pick it, and then it just shows up at his house like in a few days. It's like, holy shit, cool. That's cool.
That's cool. I mean, having that,
it's
like,
pretty sick.
That app, like, for me the best gift is when I get an unreleased shoe.
For
like,
sure.
When the shoe is like dropping in like 3 weeks and I had it on, I'm like, yeah, I feel fucking special that day. And like, that thing feels fucking cool.
I know, it's so funny growing up just only wearing skate shoes. I only just recently kind of like had more of an itch to branch out and wear other shoes, and it's just, yeah, it's a slippery slope when you start buying shoes. It's like, holy shit, I have too many shoes right now.
shoes, I mean, it's so easy to like them too.
Yeah,
because you can have shorts, jeans,
yep,
sweatpants, and I have the same problem with shoes.
Yeah.
I love my shoes.
Because I mean, when I wasn't buying shoes, I get a box of skate shoes, and when I'm skating a lot, I'll go through a pair of shoes in like 2 days because I'm shredding through them. And if I'm skating a spot where I need a little more support, I can't have like floppy shoes on. So
True.
I'll go through them so quick, and I was always so used to that in my head growing up, like, oh, shoes last a week tops. And now I'm like, holy fuck, I've had these shoes for like a year and they're just still looking fresh. I was like, that's crazy.
I mean, the skating destroys
it's
shoes.
insane. It's crazy that people like can buy so many skate shoes and keep skating them because it's so expensive.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, we used to like tape them.
Yeah.
We could just buy more Osiris or like Ethnis or any skate brand. We would just fucking duct tape them and take the tape out of the part we want to like use it on the skate. But
for sure. Or like shoe goo. I remember I was always putting shoe goo on my shoes.
They will blow the fuck up like in a few weeks.
It's insane. Yeah,
and
I remember.
You go like, holy shit, I begged my parents for these shoes for half a year.
Yeah.
Now they're
just gone. And the parents probably are just like, how the hell did you do that to them?
You get back home and they're like, what the fuck? The whole soul came out. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember
riding bikes too.
My parents would give me like a pair of shoes and they're like, these are the shoes you're going to wear to school. Like, don't skate in them. And I'd bring my board to school and then they pick me up. My shoes are just destroyed.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, skate fucked your shoes up. That's for sure.
But I like being able to like buy shoes I like into school now. I think I just didn't understand or never really cared to buy shoes growing up because I was, by the time I was 16, I was just getting them to skate in. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to I just wear skate shoes. And then as soon as I put on a normal pair of shoes, I was like, what the fuck? This is what it feels like? Like my back is fucked up from skate shoes.
That's the one thing. I don't skate at all.
Yeah.
And I only wear skate shoes.
Yeah.
And the pain on my feet.
Yeah.
But must be making my feet stronger because I can fucking kick so hard and I don't feel pain. Sure. So using the wrong shoe might be helping.
Yeah, dude. That was one thing that when I've done like any striking classes, everyone's always like, dude, your shin is already like, it looks like you've been fighting Muay Thai for your whole life because your shin is just bone. I was like, yeah, dude, there's nothing there. My dad has like, if board hits it, it just splits open. Like there's just no skin left.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
That's fucking crazy. When I see those videos of him flying, I'm like,
dude,
it looks crazy. And those ramps, dude.
It's crazy. He just turned 56 and he still skates. He skates more than I do.
You fuck around in those ramps?
I can drop in and like kind of, but not like that. I mean,
that's crazy.
They need to like study him, like his biology, because it's just like he's still.
And the way he posted a video from like the 90s with today's video, and the motion of his body, having like the way he can, the flexibility and the amount of how you say that, ability, is haven't changed a thing. Like
it looks the same.
And I'm like, how in the fuck that's possible? Like most people have like back pain or problems. I'm sure he has some pain. Yeah. But the way he can perform, it's almost the same.
Yeah, that's what my wife always says. She's like, you and your dad are the same way, where you can just like compartmentalize pain if it means doing something you want to do. Like my wife's just like, even if you're hurt, I can tell when you're hurt, but I know when you want to do something because you just like keep pushing through. And I'm like, I definitely get it from my dad because he's the same way. But because when he competed, he was like, like, what would it be? The equivalent of like a John Jones or something, where it was just like people would tell him like, oh, if I get second, I'm stoked today. Like he was just he was unbeatable, but it messed him up mentally for sure when he was younger. But
I mean, his days were crazy. I mean, competing with Hasoy and all those guys. Yeah. I mean, and those skate parks, the way they would get crowded just for
crazy.
It was like them two were like the two guys people want to see win. Yeah. I mean, there's few cool other guys rivalry in there. It's great. Yeah. I mean, I saw few like small documentaries on it, and I mean, they were shredding that pool crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to see that. I feel like there's nothing like that anymore in skating, where it's like a rivalry, where that like actually, like a sports team where you pick a side and it's like, but I mean that's all fighting is really, is like
it is.
It's just one versus the other.
They kind of make skating cool back then. I mean,
No, it was sick. It was watching those old videos. I'm like, man, it must have been really cool to be at those contests and see that energy. But
because when they would do the tournaments like on each other's backyard,
yeah,
it was like everybody was just going off on this guy.
So crazy. And then you see the ramps, just like the shittiest ramp, like
not well done.
So crazy. That was what, people. My dad was always like, he just kept skating even when skating died, and all these other people just kind of stopped, like in the 90s, and he just was so obsessed with it. He just kept skating, and then when it came back around, he never stopped. So he was just still as good as he ever was, and it was like, oh shit, he's still on it, because it kind of just died, and like in the 90s there was no one, like skating just wasn't a thing,
So he went off for a while after his era.
Yeah, like in the 80s after the vert backyard bowl kind of thing, it just tanked, like it just wasn't a thing anymore.
That's crazy how it comes in waves, because right now it's bumping, like right now skate is huge right now again.
Yeah, I know. I'm always like wondering. I'm like, I wonder what comes next. Like, is it gonna go down, or is it? I don't know. It just seems like with social media, everything is bumping now. It's like
exactly.
I feel like I see everything going off all the time.
Yeah, you create more content. You can do more.
Yep.
Better, but the cool thing about skate, like even if you have so many new technology to film, they still film with the OG cameras. With those long ones. Is because it's cool to do it, or because actually the footage came out nicer?
It just depends. I think it's like some people like a certain look. And I remember, because when I grew up skating, out filming, it was all like, on DV tapes, analog, like the VX1000 with the depth lens and everything. And then when it all switched to HD, there was a lot of people that were like, fuck HD. Like, I don't know. It was like not core or something. It was like, right. HD means you were like going like
keeping it OG,
the corporate route or something. And then but man, looking back, I think about like there was times where like I would fucking be dying for a trick, like filming it for hours. We go back to watch the footage, it's glitching on the tape, and you're just like, no. Like looking back, like I can't even imagine that happening now. I would be like, all right, I need to step away from this for a little while, and that would just happen. Like it was like
you could have your best video being fucked up.
Yeah, it was like the best trick, and then it just glitches. You watch it back, and the tape's glitching, and you're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. No second angle, just one angle. And now with HD, like that's pretty much never happens. You have usually, like a still angle somewhere, or it's pretty hard for like a tape. Yeah, like the card to get messed up on it. The only time you ever hear about it, like I've heard about people on a skate trip and get all this footage, and at the end of the trip, their van gets broken into, everything gets stolen, all the footage is just gone.
That's crazy.
Like a whole like Nike trip, paid for everything, like footage just gone. It's crazy.
That must hurt.
Yeah, can't imagine.
Keep the fucking car in your pocket.
Seriously, dude. I remember I was skating once with this buddy of mine. His name's Brian Hansen, but people call him Slash. He was like growing up, just like guy that we all idolize, like super long beard, long hair, like just like the coolest looking dude always. And I remember he did this trick when we were at a spot, and it was when I like first kind of started skating with him, and it was the first time I ever heard him, like after he did the trick, he had to go to LA, and he like went up to the filmer, he's like, let me get that DV tape. And he was like, what? He's like, let me get that tape. And he's like, really? And he's like, yeah. And like other people's tricks were on it, and he's just like, my trick's on that tape. And he took the tape, and he went to LA. He's like, I got my trick on the tape. So he's like, I'm good. Now. Yeah. He's like, that's my tape.
You remember the guy? I remember there was this one skater I used to watch on YouTube all the time. He was famous for his fist fights on the street. He would fight like 4 guys at
Mike Vallely.
Yeah. When I was a kid, that was my Wanderlei Silva.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be like that when I grow up.
Yeah, for real. It's kind of surprising he never went into like, I don't know, Pride or something. Like,
dude, he had like full on.
He would scrap.
4 guys, like 4 guys lined up. He would kick everyone's
Yeah,
ass.
it was nuts. I remember going on, because I would go on my dad used to do this thing called the Tony Hawk Gigantic Skate Park Tour, and he was one of the guys that was always on it. I grew up like going on those trips with him, and just seeing like Mike V would just be like everyone. It was kind of like people wanted to fight him, like people would show up like looking
like
for Mike
that?
V. Yeah, because it was like he had that reputation like as
like
the tough guy.
Like people just show up and
for
hey,
sure.
I wanna try myself with you.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like I'm sure it happens to you guys all the time. Like
Yeah, but I mean, he's the way you describe him. He was more like a Kimbo Slice.
Yeah, he's just
Like you just show up and
yeah.
he's gonna get in a fist fight.
I mean, it's like, you know, that the whole thing now with like the street fight. It's like, I mean, he would fuck people up, and
I remember he bossed people up like caught like, and he kind of have some kind of technique.
Yeah,
like
no.
He would move left and right.
He had that bare knuckle style for sure, different than like a MMA style. He was just brawling, just like.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around. He was the singer of Black Flag for a little bit. He like became the singer. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Kind of random, but he's still around. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he was always really cool. He was like a very very like mellow, like super smart person, but he just would just throw down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like we used to watch his videos all.
There was like
time.
that thing. It was like Mike V's greatest hits, and it was like a montage of him just fucking people
Dude,
up.
like 10 minutes of just going, and most of the time it was never one-on-one.
Yeah, it was like
he and four guys going like just going like
I know,
hitting with the board.
insane.
I love that guy. I was like, fuck that guy was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like the whole street fight thing, you know. It's like anything can happen. That one dude can fuck up 4 people, whatever.
I mean, he was really good.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, but he was a good skater too. It was cool. Growing up on those trips was cool. Like being around those guys when I was a kid, it was like just trippy to see growing up in that.
You probably grew up skating with royalty.
Yeah, I mean, there was just like my dad would just bring me on those trips because like he just had to. Like there was no one to watch me. Like my mom, you know, they weren't together, and my mom would be doing something else at the time or whatever it was. The schedules didn't line up, and my dad's like, "All right, well, I guess you're coming with me, like wherever we're going." So
that's cool. But I mean, you can skate with your son in a way. Like I wish I can bring my son everywhere.
yeah,
It's too dense to be with my kid on
Yeah.
trips. Like,
Yeah.
you train him, even if he's not a fighter. I'm just going to Vegas for sparring.
yeah.
The energy on the gym is kind of gnarly on spar day.
I'm sure you got to be more like, yeah, you can't really have any like softness come out, like
And yeah, because other people get hurt too. Like sometimes
Yeah.
I'm in a boxing gym and someone just go out cold.
yeah.
I don't want my son watching that
Yeah,
shit.
that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I guess people get hurt skating, but at the same time, it's different. It's like not like violent,
energy.
really. Yeah,
At least the energy is not like dense like that, like dark. Like you go to a boxing gym, everyone gonna fuck you up.
yeah,
Like I show up to like good pro boxing gyms, and everybody's like, fuck the UFC guy,
yeah,
and it's kind of like fuck. But sometimes my kid asks me, can I go with you? I'm like, maybe not.
yeah,
Next time if I do like medium simple shit, you can come.
for sure. When you're like, if it's fight week, are you with the family the whole time, or do you have to separate just to get in that
No.
headspace?
I even put them in the hotel like across the street.
Yeah.
Like I see them when we kind of like wanna see, like we don't go out to dinner or to lunch in that week.
Yeah,
That week is more like come to the hotel, let me hug the kids,
yeah,
and see you guys later.
because you gotta
Let's-
just get in the mindset. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's go for a coffee here and there, but I say coaches, my team, my closest friends that they're always with me, even my own family. I tell them like, I meet you guys in the lobby, give you a hug, and I see you guys like that.
Yeah,
It's just because, fighting is crazy,
yeah, that's too much mentally, I'm sure. Like,
and you don't want to be that week. You don't want to like be hanging out, like having fun. That
No,
week you want to
yeah.
be kind of like a little hard, kind of like focus on the fight, thinking about it,
sure.
talking about it. Like a lot of us, like we're gonna grab a bite. You wanna come, even if you can't eat, just come and hang out. Like nah, I'm cool. I don't.
Yeah.
After the fight, we do everything.
Yeah, you probably gotta. I mean, you gotta pretty much turn yourself into like just a savage that week, and like
Exactly,
be like,
like-
I got no.
There's no chill.
Yeah, no
Not
chill.
at all.
Yeah.
Like I brought my son before when I do commentary,
yeah.
so I just sit him
Oh, that's cool.
next to my chair.
Yeah. You just did one, right, in Vegas?
I did,
Yeah.
and I do like once a month.
That's cool.
I love it because I get to watch live fights.
For
And
sure.
you can pick up the energy and you can learn little things by watching. So I love to do it. Like I don't feel like forced to do it. Even if it's like 8 hours of like camera and lights and it's tiring, I enjoy it because I'm learning. But
Yeah.
I'm seeing the fight, I'm seeing how things are going, I'm like I feel that helps me.
Yeah, no, I mean, when the two UFC events I went to, I'm like the same. I was there like first fight, just because I'm like a fan. I want to watch it and learn. It's like interesting to me.
Same here. When there's fight nights and I'm at home,
Yeah, same.
I'm not putting on main card. I'm like sitting down like at 1 p.m. just watching. Everybody talking to me. I'm like, not right now.
Yeah.
Wait in between rounds. In between rounds, I make you a sandwich.
Yep, straight up.
But right now, I'm like full on.
UFC and Supercross, I'm just looking back and forth at each one. Cause
Supercross is fun, dude.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love, like, I grew up riding dirt bikes, so it's like my other thing that I like genuinely like am a fan to watch. Supercross and UFC on Saturdays, I'm like, nice.
That's intense. That Supercross is very intense. To like
It's insane.
Those motors got fucking power and they're heavy. And guys, it's shit in that thing.
Their endurance is insane.
Like just go like that for like hours. It's crazy.
The consequence too of like, yeah, I mean, I feel like that must be probably the most dangerous of the like action sports, because one wrong, you get tired for a second, you grab too much throttle off like one of those triples in the stadium, and you're just like 75 feet in the air, just
what I do
gone.
What I do my therapy and massage and everything down here with Dr. G. He takes care of all the motocross guys. Yeah. I go there for a fucking little bruise on my leg. I throw a low kick and I hit the guy's knee, or my foot hits the elbow, and, like baby shit. Yeah. Those fucking guys are fucking upside down with fucking wrap around things. I'm like, what happened? Just broke this, broke that. I fall. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
So gnarly.
Like I see skaters there, fighters there.
Yeah.
The motocross guys, they're fucking torn apart.
That's the thing. I think it's like with people I know that have been in motocross for a long time, and just talking about the similarities of skating and motocross and everything. It's like, I'm sure it's the same with fighting too, where it's a lot of small constant stuff, but the motocross, it's like one big one, and you're just done for like a year. Dude, like you're done.
Like I go almost every day. I see every other week someone with a fucking just coming off surgery. I'm like, holy shit, that is. I mean, I grew up dreaming having a motocross. My dad never let me because he was like, you're gonna kill yourself. Yeah. But in the town I grew up, it's kind of like farm and shit. So some of the cool guys, they used to like have those like cheap motocross looking ones, and they will go crazy on the hills and everything. I was begging my parents to let me hang out with them. They were like, not a chance.
I'm sure being a parent now, you're probably thinking like, holy shit, I can't imagine seeing my kid on a fucking dirt bike.
When I take my two kids for a bike ride, I go on the electric bike and they two go on the regular bikes. I'm just like, stop. I started screaming. They go like that, calm down. I'm like, because everything I'm thinking is just like they're gonna fall off the sidewalk, get into the street. There's a fast car coming. I'm just like, now I get it.
Those things are fast too. Those electric ones.
Mine is electric. They're very normal.
Just normal.
I want to get ahead of them.
That my dad always would freak out because my dad has a daughter who's my half sister, and she had an electric one, and they don't know the rules of the road, and they're just fucking flying around.
These kids coming out of high school and those things,
it's fucked. I'm surprised that there's not more like.
I don't see anyone getting injured, but let's keep it like that.
For sure, yeah.
Dude, sometimes I'm on a red light, goes green, and you see like 4 kids going zoom, zoom, and I'm like, fuck, dude.
Good thing you're paying attention, yeah.
Dude, and I'm okay with the regular morph because those ones are, they're fast, but they're safe. They make now these e-bikes. Yeah, that they look like a motocross.
Those ones are no joke.
Dude, Rocco has one. I jumped on it the other day and just went a little bit, and it's an electric car.
It's like a Tesla.
Zoom. It's a fucking Tesla.
Yeah, those things are no joke. There's like all kind. I've seen kids with those at the dirt bike track, and they're just
and you know how they now they do like the wheelies and they go like knee side to side, kind of like a dance. Yeah, dude, they're doing that in Urban Avenue. Yeah. This is the fastest street here in Newport, and I'm just like sometimes I just honk and I'm like, motherfucker, don't do that.
Full dad mode.
Like, bro, because they're on the bike lane, which I get it. Yeah, but they're like full on wheelie. On a 60 mile per hour street. It's 60, right, Urban? Or 40?
Yeah. I'm sure people are going 60.
It's fast, bro. And these fuckers go left and right. And right. And I'm just like, dude.
And they're filming on their phones and stuff.
One is filming on the bike. And I'm like, if I fucking hit you, I gotta live the rest of my life with
Yeah,
that.
that's fucked.
And the other day I honk at a kid. I'm like, don't do that. And he went like, fuck you. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass. And his friend told him who he was. He's like, I'm sorry, sir. No, fuck you, dude. If I find who your dad is, I'm gonna let him know.
Yeah, that's so
Because they were,
funny.
dude. And they go, instead of going one behind each other, they go like
Oh
on
yeah,
a straight
they're
line.
oblivious.
Those bikes are, and no fucking helmet.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I feel like they're gonna crack down on those things soon. Because I see the same thing in down San Diego. It's just
And because this
Coast
is a
Highway
slow town, they
flying.
go crazy. Dude.
yeah,
And those e-bikes are no joke.
they're
dude.
gnarly. I've never really spent much time in Newport. I didn't realize how like mellow it is when I was driving around just
It's
earlier.
chill,
I was getting
yeah.
getting a coffee and I was just driving around and I saw like a couple skate spots that I was like, oh, there's that thing. Like it's funny being a skater. You like,
You can see
You
where you
did-
could escape.
or it's just you'll like be driving and you'll like double take and you're like, oh shit, that's that one spot like from it's like a famous skate spot from videos, you know. And like my wife is always cracking up because I'm like, we'll be driving and I'll be like, oh, skate spot, and I gotta like pull over and like get out of the car, look at it, take a picture. And she's just always like, you think you'll do this forever? And I was like, probably.
Were you so good at spots here?
I saw one at a elementary school. It was like a little rail, like right if you just take the street that you were on, you go right onto your street, but if you just keep going all the way to where that tees, there's like an elementary school and there's like this little rail that I like took a picture of it and sent it to some homies. I was like, look at this spot, and then the homies are like, oh, we skated that like recently.
I know which high school you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the high school I'm telling. Like those kids just go crazy on,
Yep.
on those bikes.
Yeah, I bet.
That high school, I don't drive there around lunchtime.
Yeah. Any area there's like, I feel like a more well-off area, every kid has the Suron or the e-bike, so there's just packs of them just flying around.
I wouldn't give that to my son, dude.
It's gnarly.
That's just the thinking that, or maybe I will. I don't know.
Yeah.
But just thinking how fast he can go and how fucked he can get, I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
I think about like when I was a kid and we would be young, like 15, trying to like, you know, go to a house party or hang out with girls or something, and it'd be like 5 miles away, and we're like, fuck, I gotta walk 5 miles. Now, like, you just hop on that thing, you're there in 2 minutes.
Dude, I don't know how much battery that e-bike I have, but you can get to LA in that thing.
Yeah, those
Like
things
it's
go
fast
far.
enough.
Like it's literally like a motorcycle, pretty much.
It is, and it weighs nothing, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's
it
pretty
doesn't have a
nuts.
motor. It doesn't get hot.
Yeah, I know. I can't even imagine like,
Those are dangerous.
yeah, being a kid now. There's too much stimulation
It's
going
like
on.
Jimmy Neutron days right
Yeah,
now.
straight up.
They're living
For
on
real,
fucking
dude.
on fucking everything.
Absolutely.
Uh,
It's funny. Yeah, I bet you'll buy him one, I'm sure, when he comes home and asks for one.
I will. I mean, I have to.
But you got to show him you'll be like, this is how you do it.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I guess it's just also common sense, right?
Yeah.
They gotta figure.
They got to learn on their own too, I guess.
Because at some point they're gonna be out in the world. Like now, they're still under control.
Yeah.
But past 14, 15, you're gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
in a way, you're gone. So right now is the time to just put good
Yeah.
fertilizer in that seed,
For
so you
sure.
can come up good.
Don't become an idiot.
Exactly. I
Right.
mean, don't be like me, right?
Are you going to stay here, you think, in America for the rest of your life? Or are you just...
I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I don't think my kids can go back anymore. I
Yeah.
mean,
That'd be like culture shock, huh?
they are Americans now. They
Yeah.
are US guys now and girls. So I feel like if I go in 5 years from now and I'm like, okay, we're going back to Ecuador, I'll be able to do it. But they will be like, what the fuck are you? Like, I don't see my son finishing high school in Ecuador.
Yeah.
That'd be like, I finished high school there. It's fun, but for him it's gonna be like, whoa, what is this?
Yep.
But what I would like to do is send them more often, so they can
Yeah.
kind of like
Just see it.
enjoy the family, hang with the other cousins, and don't lose that touch, because sometimes we spend 5 years without going there,
Yeah.
and I can live with that. But last time I went, I was like, holy shit, my cousin's daughter. I was like, holy shit, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, how are you, kiddo?
Yeah.
And she's like, dude, you don't know her. And she's like, who the fuck is this guy grabbing covered in tattoos?
It's a whole different world. Or yeah.
So that's what I want to like just send them like few weeks, at least 2 2 weeks a year.
Yeah.
Just to have that
Just to get used
touch
to
with
it.
them, hang out. But I don't think I'm going back.
Do you think you would ever? Do you want to like open a gym one day after fighting, or coaching is not really?
No, I hate coaching.
Yeah.
If you ask me right now, dude, how you do a number? I mean, I can show it to you,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like I can go to a place and take people's life in my hands.
It's
Because that's a
lot.
job, dude.
I remember I was like, when I first kind of started getting really into jiu-jitsu, and I was just thinking about, I was like, man, if you just gave me like even 5 dudes that didn't know anything about skating, and they were like, I'll give you this money every month, and I just want you to teach me how to skate, I'd be like, where do you begin? That's fucking insane.
Being a coach it's an art, and you have to almost want it to like know how to tell that person how to do it, because I can tell you how to do everything in fighting,
Yeah.
but how to get in your head and your subconscious and be like, this is how you should do it. And I don't want that job.
Yeah.
I think after retiring, I want to get into ultra marathons and
Oh, sick.
that crazy running.
Yeah, that stuff's rad. I'm like just now getting in. I just did a triathlon, actually, a short one. It was a sprint, but that's like, I think, kind of where I want to go too, because the shit's just,
it keeps you alive.
yeah, for real.
It's gnarly things keeps you
gnarly.
alive. Doing hard things makes you different. And now, I mean, my main goal is to be a world champion.
For sure.
And I mean, happens or not, I'm gonna give my best. I cannot control
Yep.
the future, but after fighting, I mean, I would like to go like 100 miles type of guy.
Yeah.
Like just run every day
Yep.
and surf. I
For
can
sure.
surf the rest of my life,
Yep.
being happy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you still got plenty. Like, how old are you again?
31.
Yeah, we're the same age, so we're not out of our prime.
No, we're still doing good things.
Yeah, we got.
I mean,
we
the
got
next
the time.
6 years are the best years of our life. Those
sure.
are the years that you have to like do something.
Yeah.
Because after that, it's just keep it up.
What I'm
It's
learning
like-
for sure is like getting in shape now and taking care of myself now is going to allow me to do those tight things like marathons and stuff in my 40s, because it's like I feel like when people just try to start to get into something after not doing shit for 20 years, it's fucking brutal.
I mean, think about it. If you get a car from the 90s and have never been driven,
Yep.
what's gonna happen? I mean, that car's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And
Things in the shop.
that's the health part. Like, people just don't get it. People think like, oh yeah, running is for athletes. Oh, lifting weights is for bodybuilders. I'm like, no, society in a way has become weak, because now everything is being in your phone. How it can be cool or just like down for no reason. Back in the day, everything was about exercise, eating good, and
For sure.
doing the best in your job, or figure out how to become something. It's almost like that primal gotta come back to us at some
Yeah.
point, because I see most people just dragging ass for no reason.
Yeah. I think once I started wanting to do those things, like, jiu-jitsu and even skating in general, but like running, everything, it's like, that's what fucking keeps me feeling like a human. I'm like, holy shit, I'm definitely just a human, because I'm, only like 5 miles in a run and I feel like fucking turning around and just walking back home.
And it's crazy how running, how good it's like the best therapy. Like,
Yeah.
running is the best fucking therapy. Like,
Yeah.
I can do. I mean, running and surfing give me the same feeling. Like, it's like I forget about who I am. I forget about what I do.
Yeah.
Even if I'm running for a fight,
For
I'm
sure.
not like I'm winning this fight. I'm just like in a different zone. Just good chemicals flowing around my fucking brain. And
For sure.
when I see someone trying to, I'm like, just get a pair of running shoes. Don't ask for a coach. Just run for 3 minutes and walk for 5,
Yeah.
and increase as much as you want.
Yeah.
And if you are any consistent, 6 months from now, you will be running half a marathon easy.
Yeah. I mean,
People
when
don't
I
believe that, but
I started, it was like a mile in, I was fucking dying, but then I just kept doing it. I'm not a great runner, but like I feel it getting easier each time, and that
gets
makes
better.
me want to like keep running. But I think since started running, my cardio and other things is in so much better shape. Like when I roll now, I barely get winded, you know, with before it would be by the third, fourth round, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. But when I'm like thinking in my head, like, all right, this is like, you know, you're a couple miles in, now you got to keep pushing. You like have that in the tank kind of to go.
Running is key, bro. I mean, running really, I mean, the way I fight, I feel like even if the fight gets hard, I feel my whole everything is in there, and it's because of running.
Yeah.
Running is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, it's funny. Because I have like the ice bath like you, and my buddies are always talking about wanting to run or do the ice bath, and I'm like, dude, it's funny because it's the fucking easiest thing in the world to do. You just run or you just get in the water, but everyone will talk about it forever and make excuses why they don't want to do it. I'm like, it's the simplest thing. You just start walking faster, or you just get into the water. And it's like, I've seen so many of my friends, like they'll just talk themselves in circle around not running and going in the ice bath. I'm like, just do it, just get in there.
I mean, it's right there.
I mean, you don't really, honestly, you don't even need running shoes or shoes in general. Like
you can run in the beach.
I've seen dudes running next to me, and like I did a little 5K, dudes barefoot just on the street just running. I'm like,
I did a half marathon with Travis Barker on December, and this old guy, he run fully barefoot.
So savage.
And we finished at the same time, and I was fucking dying because I was pushing myself because it was my first official marathon. So I did like 1:55. That was like my best time ever
for the half. Yeah, that's good.
And this old man was riding, and we were going like this, like just pushing each other.
Yeah.
And he was fucking barefoot. And I was like, dude, how you did is like start with a mile.
Yep.
Then with 2, and eventually, and I'm like, but how you run with, like, we did it on the beach paths, which is kind of clean. How you run in the street without shoes? That must be gnarly.
Dude, some people, I guess like you said, you just keep doing it.
Like I saw.
But that's fast as fuck, barefoot, 155.
That's heavy. I saw they did a run a few months ago from LA to Vegas.
Holy shit.
And they brought these ladies from Peru. Full on the fucking outfit. Like a full on dress.
I saw something about this, yeah.
With the fucking sandals.
Yeah, and they're just jamming.
They get before the real runners. And that tells you like how crazy running is. It's almost like if you live up there in the fucking mountains of Peru,
seriously,
and you need to go from point A to point B, there's no fucking warm up or nice shoes. You gotta running. Fucking go.
Yeah,
that's just the way life is for them.
That's why the like what is it? The like national park ultra stuff is cool. And people are just jamming through like trails in the mountains. That stuff's rad. There's like a guy that I follow on Instagram. He's from Newport. I don't know, maybe you know, it's Max something, but he's like a pro runner. He's like a skate guy, I think, but now he's a runner. But
if I see his face, you show me later. Probably I know.
But I was watching some of his videos, and he does like that stuff. He did the one I watched. He ran from Seal Beach Pier all the way to San Clemente Pier.
Wow. In
like 4 hours and something minutes.
That's crazy.
It's fucking nuts. But yeah, it's crazy. But the stuff I was watching with him, he was just same thing. He just runs like every day, and you just keep running.
And the good thing about those long runs, sometimes you're not even paying attention to the time.
Yeah.
You just going. You say fuck it. I'm gonna do 10, walk for a few, stop, do 10 more, chill, have a snack, do 10 more, and then I feel it's better to freestyle like that than if you have to be like, this is the time, you win or you lose.
Yeah.
In running, you don't have a winner or a loser in a marathon. Everybody wins.
Just you versus yourself.
Exactly. And that's kind of like the cool part, because I've been my whole life competing against some fucking asshole.
For sure.
So eventually I'm like, fuck yeah, it's just me.
Just
fuck
cruising.
Everybody.
Yeah. I feel like when I stopped, same thing. Like when I first started, I was like, oh, I got to run, 3 miles in this amount of time or whatever. And then like, as of recently, I just literally just go run, and then I'll like look at my watch. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going like, a 7:30 pace, which is
That's
like good for me. And I'll be like,
That's
okay.
great.
And then I look, and it's like an 8:50 pace. I'm like, fuck it, who cares? Like but I used to be the same way. I'm like, my competitive mindset would come out, and I'm like, I gotta run at a, this pace the whole time. But then I was like, that's dumb. Like I'm not having fun doing that. It's more, I want to have fun. So, but then I got better because I would just be running, and I'd look and I'd be like, oh shit, I'm running at like a okay pace, like this is cool. And then if I'm not, I'm like, whatever, who cares?
But yeah, no, running is beautiful. That's one thing I probably will never stop doing.
Yeah, I only really honestly just got more into running, and it's been super cool because I was just always struggling with my ankles. I've had a lot of bad ankle injuries, and I always wanted to run, and it was just really hard. And I was just like, finally I was like, just fuck it, just keep running, even if it hurts. Like, you're gonna get past this threshold. And then I finally kind of broke through, and now I can like run to where they're not just like, you know, bricks afterwards.
I mean, knees are fucked up, but the good thing about the ankles is like, even if I spar on Friday and my foot is fucked up, somehow it lets you run.
I know, it's weird. Yeah,
Like sometimes like it's swollen the top,
yeah,
it's brown on the side. Just
it's like those first few steps are kind of like, ugh, and then next thing you know, you're just jamming. You're
that's
like,
a good thing about the feet. It can be fucked up, but you can still using it.
Yep.
Other parts are like, if the knee hurts, stop.
Yeah.
Groin, stop.
Yeah, I've been lucky to not, in my skate career, it was always my ankles. I've known a lot of guys that once the knee goes, like, they're kind of just, their skating's never the same.
For every sport.
Everything, yeah.
I know guys that just keep going under the knife, and sometimes they're like big muscle, everything's good, and that thing just keep just coming out.
Sucks. I think it's just genetic stuff.
Some people it's a little weaker than others in a way. Like,
Yeah.
like they actually just break quicker.
Yeah, yeah. But definitely glad I can just run in a, you know, semi-comfortable state. Obviously running hurts no matter what, but
Right.
running to
But
where
you
I
can
don't
do it.
Yeah, I
which
can
is
do
a-
it.
is
So
a
I'm
great
like,
part
fuck it.
about
I was like, dude, even if at a certain point I was like, even if I'm running like, you know, a 10, 12 minute mile, if I'm just running, who cares? Like,
it
doesn't matter.
because you get a different type of conditioning going at a slow pace
Yeah,
for longer.
for sure.
You expand the VO2 max. Then when you go, you blast it, you
Yeah.
go fast, you get a different cardio. So all of the runs are good.
Yep,
Uphill, super fast,
for sure.
little slower.
I've got some friends, you know, we'll be jamming on a run, and they kind of start jamming, and then we're just like, just barely into the first mile, and I'm like, I'll see you in like in 2 miles, you know, because like they don't run that often, but they just want to they think it's just like you just jam, and sure enough, like within
Done.
200 feet, I'm like, yep, there we are again. Like,
I told you.
right there, buddy. Yeah, but you know, some people just get competitive out of nowhere. Like I have friends that are like that. You know, it's like everything's a
run.
competition. It's like you have to beat the other person.
A few weeks ago, I went to Oregon and I ran with Cameron Haynes.
Oh wow, that's
Dude.
savage.
We went 15 miles with his friend that is like an Olympic runner. He told me he can do a mile like in 3:50. I said like, fuck that. And we went through the woods of Oregon and we were going up. Dude, it was so gnarly. He would ask me every other mile, like, are you cool? And I was like, I love this. I mean, the environment was epic.
The altitude too probably was fucking brutal.
Yeah, maybe. But what it was really, I was feeling pain on parts I never felt pain in my life. It was so uphill that it was almost that you have to crawl up.
Oh my god.
Get on top of like fallen trees. Like, we went to this mountain, came down, run a few miles, and came to another one. And I was like, holy shit. It was one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah.
Because I love outdoors, and where he took me, it was extremely beautiful. But holy shit, I was fucked up.
That's and when you're like with someone like that, you're like, I gotta just keep going.
Down.
Yeah.
I told myself I will let something break before I bitch down.
Yeah.
No, not with this fucking guy.
Well, because when it's that distance, you're like, okay, I know I can. It's not like 100 miles where you're like, that is just, if you just can't do that sometimes.
And of course not.
Yeah.
On that one you will definitely quit. But there was a time somebody like, yeah, the second hill is actually easier, and I was like, cool. Fuck no. It was like 10 times harder.
That's so nice.
It was like up, left, right, up, left. And I was just like, there was a point I was walking and I was like, I can't walk. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna count 60 seconds and I'm gonna run for 60. I couldn't pass 25 seconds and I would like walk again. I was like, motherfucker.
I trip on those people that like those endurance athletes.
Dude,
fucking like
they're gnarly.
watching all those. They do an Ironman in Oceanside, and that's like my goal is like one day I want to do that where I live in Oceanside, and I just like watch the people that do them, and like I was just watching the St. George one, and just those people are like just freaks. Like it's fucking crazy. Like the guy that guy Sam Long, the last one in St. George, he ran the half marathon in an hour and 10 after the swim and the bike.
That's crazy.
And it's like, how is that even humanly possible?
I think for me the hardest part will be the swimming.
That was when I just did the triathlon. The swim was, I was out in the water and I was like, what the fuck did you do?
Especially with a wetsuit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can swim. Like, I can swim in a pool.
Yep.
But I don't know if I can swim with a wetsuit.
Yeah, it was scary. That was the only thing I did in that where I was like genuinely like
How far
this
you
is
swim?
brutal. It was 400 meters, so it's not that far, but it was far enough to be like, this is fucking definitely not a short swim. I think it took me about 12 minutes.
That's a long time.
It's a long time, yeah.
Swimming is a long time.
Yeah, if it's 12 minutes, or swimming feels probably like the equivalent of like fighting around. It was
think about
it was
it.
a long ass 12 minutes.
Go to a normal pool and swim and go put a timer for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I would be done in 3 minutes.
Yeah, when I was practicing, I would like look at the clock and it'd be like 5 minutes. I'm like, holy shit. And then the morning of, I was like, you don't have an option. You just have to get it. You have to finish it. Yeah, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm fucking waving down the boat guy to pick me up. I was
so
like,
that's like a half marathon for
the triathlon.
Yeah.
The triathlon this one was a sprint, so it was like pretty short distances. It's like a beginner one. It was the 400-meter swim, the 10-mile bike, and then 5K run. So it's pretty like short distances.
That's a good entry one, but
it was good. Yeah.
I feel out of all that, the swimming will fuck you up the most.
For sure. When I got out of the water, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I got to get on a bike right now. And I was like trying to get my shit on. Like, I learned a lot doing it, but it was like a perfect entry one for sure. I want to do another one though. It was fun.
Let me know when you do the next one.
Yeah, there's one, I think in July in Solana Beach down in San Diego that we want to do.
Same distance?
Same distance, yeah.
I'll give it a try too.
Yeah, it was fun, dude. You'd like it. It was just challenging because you can do all of them separate, but doing it at once, it was like, okay, this is where I gotta.
I really
push.
believe my biggest weakness will be the swimming.
That was how
Even
I
if
was.
I surf a lot, it's a different animal.
It's totally different. I mean, I was like, I know I can ride a bike and run, but swimming, I was like, I've never done open water swimming like that. It was scary. I was like, holy shit.
Is the water moved?
Dude, yeah, I like turned the last buoy and I felt like I wasn't even moving. Like, I felt like I was in one of those pools and the water's just coming at you and I was just like, dude, what? And there's fucking people hitting me and like, you're like a fish, crazy. Like a school of fish. People are kicking you, hitting you. It's fucking crazy.
Like everybody goes at the same time.
Yeah, because it's like a race, people are trying to win. So you're like, holy shit. But it was fun. It was sick.
How much is an Ironman? It's like a mile of swimming.
And a full Ironman is, I believe, 3 miles swim, 100-mile bike, 26-mile run. It's fucking insane.
Out of the question, bro.
But I feel like it's one of those things, if you dedicate yourself to it.
I mean, guys run from LA to Vegas.
Yeah, but the one in Oceanside is a half, so everything's half. So 1.5 swim, I think. 50-mile and then half marathon, which seems doable.
Yeah, the bike, I have a road bike and I have a mountain bike. I did like 27 miles a day.
Yeah.
And I told myself I'm gonna stick to running.
Dude.
I felt like I was doing nothing.
When I got off the bike after the 10 miles in the triathlon, I was like wobbling. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I have to run 3 miles right now. Like I could barely walk off this bike. Like I felt so crazy.
Yeah, like I went all the way to HB Pier, past the pier, come back, and I was like, it didn't feel like
it's different.
It's different.
Feels more like weightlifting or something versus
your thighs get so much pump.
Like running feels just cardio, but biking feels like different for some reason.
It because it's almost like only you feel in your thighs unless you're going up.
And my lower back gets fucked. I'm like, oh dude, I feel old.
Too. I can't sit on a bike for too long. It hurts my groin, it hurts everything.
Yeah, my homie gave me one of I have a buddy who is a pro cyclist and he has a bunch of bikes and he let me borrow one for the triathlon and I was sitting on it. I was like, fuck, this seat's gnarly. And he's like, no, it's a pretty comfy one. I was like, this thing is not comfy.
Awful.
Yeah, I was
sitting
like,
on a bike is not comfy.
Yeah.
Even when I gotta do like the air bike or cardio, I'm like, I rather put the treadmill in 1,000 miles per hour and run
Just
my ass
sprint,
off.
yeah.
It's just I can sit on.
But I guess I get it because it's like I rode a bike the other day because I tweaked my ankle skating and it's no impact. You can still do it, so it has its benefits for sure. But yeah,
you definitely got upside out of it.
It was everything I like researched and listened to about people that do those triathlons and stuff. It's exactly what they said. I was like, during the swim, I was like, oh, I can't wait to just fucking get on the bike. As soon as I was on the bike, I was like, I can't wait to fucking be running. Like, fuck this.
No, those are gnarly, bro. Those are fucking gnarly.
But yeah, you should do it if we do it again. It was fun. It was like a good test. Test of mental.
I mean, that for me will be hard because it's brand new, and I'm not gonna train swimming. I'm gonna really just
go for it.
Just hope God help me that
That's
day.
pretty much how I did this last one. But the next one I'm gonna train for it because I was like
running and biking, I feel safe.
Exactly.
The swimming, I think I'm gonna struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good mental test. The swim, it tested me mentally.
Yeah.
I was like halfway through, and I was like, whew, I got a long way to go, and I'm like, I'm fucking tired right now.
No, I'm definitely down for that one. Let's do that one.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, no, that one. I really feel the swims when it hurt me.
It was one of those things. It was like going to bed the night before. I was having the swim like nightmares, like waking up like, oh fuck, I gotta go because it was early. We swam at like 7 and it was pouring rain. It was like the worst conditions. It sucked.
And the rain will also make the water.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to breathe and I'm just getting hit with water. I was like, this is fucking crazy.
And I would probably try to use a small wetsuit because a thicker one will.
Oh yeah,
not let me move.
This one though is in the summer, so it'll be decent. You probably won't even have to honestly wear a wetsuit. But
that'd be great. I mean, no wetsuit will be the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, bro, it's been great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. Of course. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, dude.
Let's wrap this thing up, boys.
Yep.